and gentlemen. Oh, now we are.
See ya. There you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We did an earlier version on you now, and we're doing the second broadcast on YouTube. So we'll be on for another hour, and we'll talk on this. Maybe not the whole time, but we'll talk. New hold potentially inappropriate messages for review. Not now. I don't need that. Okay, let me go to top chat. See what we'll pull. Live chat. Okay. All right. Anyhow, thank you for all your help, Deb. Okay. Yeah. We'll send you We'll send you your $5,000 retainer as soon as my welfare check comes in.
Notice going forward is most of your videos are no longer listed. That was done on purpose. We wanted to clean up the channel a little bit. We've got descriptions. We've got a link going back to the YouNow page. We've got tags, so it may be a little bit easier to find the broadcast. In addition to that, within the upcoming week or two, the name of this channel will change. And we'll let people know what name it's going to be and, essentially what we're kind of doing with that. Trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover.
Now, why are we doing that, Dev? Why are we doing that?
So that it is easier to find us.
Because of?
Right now, for some people, there have been quite a few people via YouNow who've wanted to find the stream, but were unable to because if you search Talking Head on YouTube, you find the band.
Right.
You don't find us.
So what I'm thinking of is whatever the name we choose, like great. Yeah. And then after that, it'll be great Talking Head. Something that, or something that will maybe take Talking Head kind of away so that people won't get confused and it'll be a more direct shot. So that's the reason it's being done. Thanks to.
However, Head on YouNow will stay the same, but the channels will just be linked.
Right.
I think we're still playing around with the schedule. Because I know right now we have some days where we go on here, and some days we go on YouNow, and then some days we do both. Some days we take long breaks that we don't go on at all.
What I told them tonight was that we were going to experiment with the following. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we come on YouNow at 8 o'clock, and we'll do up to an hour and a half. And then we'll switch over to YouTube, and we'll do that 3 days a week. See what happens, how many carryovers we can get. Okay? We'll experiment for a week or 2 weeks, and then if it works out well, depending on which one works out the best.
The other thing we may get into, and we'll have to see, is we'll figure out your microphone situation, bring that back out, find the cable or whatever, and perhaps we will record short podcasts, 30, 40-minute, maybe a little longer if there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and we will record those, and then we'll put those up on all the sites. And we'll obviously talk about that here on YouTube.
Right.
That way, if people kind of want to listen to us, maybe they don't, who knows, but, and kind of get our opinion on things, how we feel about it. That's something we're thinking about doing.
Well, on the previous show, on the YouNow, we had 64 people that came in and out.
Coming in and out.
Yeah, that was good.
The problem with YouNow, and I know we've talked about this before, is the site in and of itself is kind of really slowed down. I mean, you compared it to even 2-3 years ago, there was a lot of people on there. And I feel like just in general is a more popular site. Plus, with the redesign, which I don't like. I mean, I like parts of it, but it's more difficult. It used to be where if you broadcasted and you scroll down a little bit, the viewer could see the whole list of people under that tag.
Right.
And you could still do that, but it's in a different spot and it's harder to click through. And I wish they would change that because before, if somebody interesting caught your eye, you would click through and go watch them.
Yeah.
Well, now they've kind of made it more difficult. So I think it's a little bit more difficult to actually go and find people.
Well, I also think that they cleaned it up and gotten rid of, because a lot of these people that came on were basically, 12 years old to 16. And you'd get into politics or talk about that, and they just, come in and bullshit. And sure, you might get, and then they would, tell 25 of their friends, hey, go on here, let's harass them. And then they would show up.
I agree.
Now
that has changed a little bit.
Now we're getting people.
Last year and a half.
Yeah, what I'm noticing is that we're getting a following in the same people, like Ice, you, and even American Patriot, okay? And Gay for You, or Gay Forever, okay? Some of these other people. OTC came in tonight, okay? And I'm noticing that we're getting more regulars, that are tuning in, and they're bringing other people. And, as I said before, you have 64 viewers in an hour and a half, but you never had more than 7 or 8 on the channel at any one time, which means it's like a revolving door. They come in, they visit, they leave. And like, for instance, if you leave and then come back, you're considered another viewer, even though you were on. It doesn't take credit. Say, well, wait a minute, he's been on before, so therefore this is not, it counts it as a viewer. So maybe 25% of them are people that are just walking in and out.
Yeah. And I think eventually, at least in my perspective, I think the plan is to use you now for what it's good for as far as promoting this and, establishing yourself out there again. And then eventually backing off of you now and just being on YouTube is as we get more and more people.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this idea. I have my laptop, and fortunately, Scotty, his TV computer screen, he didn't know it was a computer screen. He thought it was just a TV. It suddenly stopped working. Now, what I found before is that computer screens sometimes are like capacitors. They get overcharged and they blank out. So what you do is you unplug them and then plug it back in, and it'll come back on. So he bought a new one. And he says, I got this other TV. I just didn't feel like taking the other one back. He says, can you use it? I said, yeah. So I ordered a high definition cable, and that should arrive tomorrow. And if it does, I can put the laptop, the laptop computer onto that monitor and go on YouTube on the laptop. And you now on this one, because I'll use the camera that's on the web, on the laptop, and the microphone there. And you can hear it when I talk loud enough.
Yeah. And
I have a feeling that this might be a way in which we can link the two together. Okay.
Yeah, that could be a way.
So we can see. And then what we might do is, figure out a way in which you are on YouTube and you can comment by monitoring the YouNow channel and saying, hey, Bill, look at that remark. I don't think we'll have the echo problem. The other thing I was going to suggest to you, and I might try this. Do you have a pair of earphones? Even
that's what I'm wearing.
You are. When you wear the earphones, do you still get that echo problem?
Yeah, because it's on your end.
So how could I eliminate that problem? By using earphones?
Well, okay, so ideally what you would do, as we did before for a while, and then it got like your computer couldn't handle it, I suppose is the best way to put it, is to run it through a thing like OBS or Minicam, is you run the stream through that. And OBS is easier to do it this way.
Right.
But you run your computer audio through OBS, so it's picking up Discord. Because right now, people are hearing me over are your speakers.
Right.
So you would be wearing headphones, which you have, which we got you. You'd be using your microphone that we got you.
Yeah.
And then the audio would be playing through OBS or something like that from Discord, and it would be a cleaner audio.
All right.
And there would be no echo.
All right. I have to find the cable. It's here somewhere. I have the mic. But
you remember if is it a UBS cable?
Well, it's UBS on one end, and it's a square cable, a square thing on the other end.
Oh.
It's square in nature. And I've seen them before, but I have it somewhere, and I'll make it a point to locate it.
All right, yeah, because we need to, because even in general, it's good to have that because the audio sounds crisper and better.
Thank you. So does bacon. Okay.
One thing that we didn't cover over on and we could cover it here is Pete Buttigieg.
Yes.
Who is my current favorite candidate running for president.
Yeah.
He raised $7 million.
Yeah.
In the first quarter, which is, I mean, comparative to like Bernie Sanders, it's low, but that's really good considering how much of an underdog he was.
Well, now Bernie raised how much? I didn't look at the report.
Bernie raised, well, he didn't announce the total for the quarter, but you figure he raised almost $6 million.
Right.
On the first 24 hours.
Right.
Beto O'Rourke raised $6.1 million or something like that in his first 24 hours. So altogether, they definitely raised more money. I know Kamala Harris today announced that she raised $12 million, but those are like first-tier candidates.
Yeah.
So for Pete to come in and raise $7 million, that's really good.
Especially somebody that everybody has problems trying to pronounce his name. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he does have one of those last names, unfortunately. That's why everybody just says call him Mayor Pete. But if you maybe you don't remember this, but going back to 2004 when Howard Dean ran,
yes,
people made a huge, big deal that he raised $50 million the entire primary. Like back then it was like, wow, what an amazing amount of money. And now we have candidates raising like a quarter of that in a single quarter.
Right.
It's just insane to me.
And here's another thing. What's interesting to me with the Mayor Pete, is he's gay. He's outspoken. That's no problem. But we don't see a backlash. We don't see the extreme right people, the homophobics out there attacking yet. And hopefully they won't.
Well, I think if he's lucky enough to get farther and the primary ends up where like there's 3 of them and he's one of them, I think you'll start seeing those type of attacks and comments increase. But the polling on the data out there shows that 18 to 34-year-olds are like, I think it was like 84% okay and ecstatic about the idea of a gay candidate. And then the 65 plus crowd is like 62%. So it's kind of low, but even that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think people don't really care. I think what they're focused on right now is the fact that, like, what is this person going to do for me? What are they talking about?
Right.
And less so, who are they married to?
Right.
The one reason he stands out for me, and I really like him, is, and the more you watch him, you'll see this.
Well, he likes you, by the way. I've talked to him. He says he loves you. He's hot to go down and see you, but he said, make sure my boyfriend, my wife, my husband, because he's the wife in the marriage, that my husband
has this sort of calmness isn't the right word. He almost deflects any type of attack I feel like that Trump could level against him.
Yes.
Because I feel like he's where I don't think Hillary and I don't think some of the other candidates are able to do that. He has this sort of calmness and like self-intelligence and self-assurance in his abilities and his beliefs, that those things aren't going to affect him.
Let me ask.
I think what you'll see on the debate stage, just amongst the Democrats, is his ability to break through the noise and not do those sort of zingers, but get his point across effectively.
Yes.
I don't think Trump's going to be, again, I don't have any delusions that I think he's going to be the nominee. But I think if he is and he wins and we get to that point, that Trump is going to have a really hard time attacking him.
But they won't stop him, but he'll still go after them. And he'll have people like Pence.
But I don't think those attacks will land in the same way that they landed on Hillary. Again, we could argue that if they were justified or they were valid arguments.
Right.
But you have to acknowledge the fact that a lot of the stuff what he was saying at least landed. And I don't think he's going to see that with him. Because, even he said it himself. You look at the exact opposite of what Trump is, and that's Pete. He's a young veteran. He's gay. He's from the Midwest. He's worked hard all of his life. He's everything that Trump isn't.
Right.
And I think he's going to struggle to make a compelling argument against that.
Well, not only that, but Buttigieg has done, notice how I learned the name. Buttigieg has done an outstanding job. He served in the military. All the things that Donald says we got to get rid of. Let's get rid of gays in the military. We don't need them. Yeah, he's a distinguished thing. Also, the fact that I won't find him at all not bringing up the fact that he has served his country, because I think that's going to be an issue when people look at Donald and they begin to realize this guy is a draft dodger. But I think the big key in the upcoming election is going to be, what did Donald give us? We had 4 years. What did we get in those 4 years? We got someone who lied to us X number of times. We've gotten somebody that can't tell us the truth. We've alienated all of our allies. We've caused a war with Mexico. And they're going to begin to say, it was an experiment. We, as an Americans, were so frustrated. He found that core. But I think that there's going to be a lot of people out there now, farmers and middle class and lower and uneducated. They're going to say, okay, we tried that. Donald, we gave you your shot. And then we were done with it.
Well, I think.
Go ahead.
I think the natural progression here is the Republicans, and you never know, crazier things have happened, but the Republicans would be very unwise to make this a election about healthcare.
Right.
Obamacare has, over the years, has gotten increasingly popular because people realize how much it affects them. When the Republicans started messing with it and changing things and that causing issues with it, they realized just how many important things that it actually did for them. And we see with polling data that Democrats have like a 20% above Republican, like voters trust them like 20% more than they do Republicans on healthcare. Mm-hmm. And one of the big driving forces behind 2018 was healthcare.
Right.
People ignored the whole immigration thing. Like, his base cares about that stuff, but your average suburban housewife and your average teenager who was just voting for the first time, and like the average voter doesn't care about the wall, doesn't care about the immigrants flooding into our country. They care about the future as far as their jobs and their health care and their education. And I think Democrats, for once, have a chance to make the conversation about those things and win on those things.
Yeah, even if they... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say, even if... Here's an idea I had. Why not tell a student that his interest, his debt, his student loan debt, is a deduction on his income tax? Okay, so let's say he made $25,000 and he's paying $200 a month for his student debt. Okay, that he would be able to take that 2,400 and write it off of his income tax along with his base, exemption. Number one, not everybody would do it. But number two, I don't think it would cost us a large amount of money than to just forgive it and say, okay, as of now, we're forgiving all this debt. And it would also make the student.
Well, so Cory Booker and I think Elizabeth Warren and a few other people have talked about this idea, and I really like it. It's different than what Bernie is proposing. It's the whole idea of debt forgiveness. So essentially, you start small and you pick a select number of jobs, so like doctors, teachers, etc. And you go to those people and you say, if you're willing to get a major in this field, or you already are a part of this field, we will forgive your debt because of what you're providing society. And that does two things. One, it frees up all the money that is currently being spent towards tuition and stuff like that, tuition debt and stuff like that, and allows those teachers, those doctors, etc., to put that money back into the local economies and into increasing the spending. But it also does another important thing, is it encourages people who perhaps are questioning, should I become a teacher? Should I become this? Should I become that? Just look at how much money it costs and look at my wages, what they would be. And if you say to those people, okay, if you agree to become a teacher and you work in the public sector for this number of years, we will forgive all of your tuition.
What's even greater about that is it also could be used by the government and American society to look for those areas where students aren't going in. Let's say we need more engineers.
Exactly.
Okay,
well, we don't.
More
yes,
computer
exactly.
people. And say, put them in that class so that this kid coming out of college who's pretty bright with math says, you mean to tell me if I became a computer programmer or, I went into the computer industry, I could have my debt forgiven? Hey, I think I'll do that.
That's exactly the idea.
Okay.
Is that is like the starting point of making tuition more affordable. But you have to do it both ways. You have to make it that the people who already have their degrees, that
Right.
their debt is forgiven. And you also have to make it that people who are willing to get into these majors and get involved in these things will have their debt forgiven.
All right, what about this idea? The idea being that here's how we're going to forgive your debt. We're going to do it over a 10-year period. Every year, we will knock off your balance, out of your balance, $2,000. So let's say it's $10,000 of debt, just to make it simple, or $20,000. So year one, you'll file your tax return, you'll have a $2,000 deduction. Year two, you get another $2,000. Now, of course, the guy is still paying his debt, but guess what? His monthly payments are going down because he no longer has a $10,000 debt, but now he's only got a $6,000 debt. So it helps him there. And it also allows the government to still receive income without losing it altogether. Oh, but we've got a couple of people here. Okay. No, Nick, Nokur. Okay, hello, how are you? And then we have another gentleman. Oh, it's the same person. Do I enjoy? Not sure what he's saying. Do you enjoy? Oh, you now or YouTube? I don't know. Listen, tell him how he can get into voice if he wishes to do so.
I think they left. I think that's the troll. They asked if you enjoy Wendy's.
Wendy's. I eat there occasionally, yeah.
50% of the U.S. population pays 97% of income taxes. 10% of income pays 70% of taxes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's out of it's out of proportion. Okay, the ones that can pay the least or can afford the least are paying the most, and the people that can afford the most are paying the least. And this is like, why are you screwing these people?
Yeah. I don't know, but I think that's a good idea. I think you can also do something where you make community colleges either completely free or you make them so affordable that there is no really barrier for these kids coming out of high school or even these adults to actually go in and get their associate's degree or their bachelor's degree.
Well, I can remember these kids when I was growing
I think that'll be something that we could talk about and do.
Right, their parents couldn't afford college, or the kid just didn't have the aptitude outside of state colleges, which required you, if you were a resident of the state of Ohio and you graduated from high school, they had to take you. But a lot of these kids didn't have the knowledge to really survive in college. They would flunk out within the first year. And so community college was a stepping stone, giving them their feet in the water so they could get a little bit of training and say, oh, okay, this is what college is like. And that was good. That was the original concept. Kind of like an accelerated high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the thing. How does he get onto Discord? Tell him how to get onto Discord, only because if he can get onto Discord and...
But they're not here.
Oh, I saw. Oh, that's right. Okay, they're not here.
If they asked, I would just send the link, but they didn't.
Okay. Well, if you see them again.
But yeah, so and I mean, I think there's a lot of good ideas, and I was trying to say, I was trying to explain to your neighbor who was saying, well, what are the Democrats talking about? They're all talking about Trump, and that's just simply not true.
But you can't.
A vast majority of the Democrats who are running for the president of the United States are actually talking about issues,
right?
Real issues, things like healthcare, jobs, education, climate change, etc.
Yeah.
You have to listen to them. You have to make effort. You have to open your ears, and you have to put your Fox News biases aside, and you have to actually listen to them because they're talking about these things. Mayor Pete, who is my favorite candidate, very rarely brings up Trump. Almost never. And that's a good thing. He's focused on what the people actually care about. And, you could even extend that through, people like Elizabeth Warren. She's talking about issues. She's putting out policy ideas. She's putting out solutions. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great disservice to people to say, oh, well, they only care about Trump or, they just want to impeach Trump. And I feel like that's just not true.
That's a true statement you just made. You've always got people out there that will not listen. Now, I make it a point. Hi, hello, Jerry. Give him the link. Tell him how, because he can hear you. Tell him how he can go to Discord, get approved, and then be able to talk to us verbally if he wishes to do that. So he can get in on the conversation if he wants to.
But if he wants to, he can come.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he's got to say something. Well, if he's got to say something, I'm not just going to throw out the link every time.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, give it to him anyhow, because there aren't that many people for you to write it out for.
Yeah, but they gotta say they want to join, Bill, and then I'll give the link out.
No, you give them. Oh, I see what you mean. Because can they join without permission?
Well, yeah, I'll just send the link if they want it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to just send it to send it.
Okay. What's he saying now? I'm down to join. There you go.
Well, okay.
He's going to give you the link.
I sure hope they actually talk.
Yeah. I love this.
We'll go. I'm going to go to 10:30. So that's about 15 minutes.
I'll go to 11. Then we're done.
Well, you go to 11.
Go to 10:45. Compromise 10:45. Then we'll end the broadcast.
I don't know. I sent the link. I don't know if he actually sees it.
There's the link.
Sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really understand what YouTube's doing.
Let us know if you connect it.
Oh, one thing I want to bring up is actually Bernie. I've heard other people talk about this idea, but Bernie Sanders is actually the one that brought it up the most recently. And he was talking about how you reform the Supreme Court. He says what may make sense is, if not term limits, then rotating judges to the appeals court as well. Letting them get out of the Supreme Court and bringing in new blood.
Yeah, but think about it.
So essentially what you would do, and you wouldn't have to get a constitutional amendment to do this, is you would sort of have a period of time that would be decided that after that period of time, you would then rotate those appointees down to other positions. And then you would bring in new Supreme Court justices.
All right, first of all, who would bring in the new justices?
The president.
The president. Okay. Number two, if you were a Supreme Court justice, the highest court in the land, and someone told you you're only going to sit here for 10 years, and then you're going to get replaced, you're stepping down. I don't think many of these people would turn around and say, "Oh, great, I'm going to become an appellate."
Who cares what they think, Bill?
Well, they would.
If you don't like it, too bad. And that's honestly the approach we have to take. We have term limits on the president of the United States for a reason, and we should have term limits on the Congress, and we should have term limits on the Supreme Court.
I agree.
This nonsense that this sort of like, oh, we can't have term limits, or we have to constantly have lifetime appointees because it prevents, biases and political, judgments. It's just not true.
Well, here's the problem, though. Appellate court judges are appointed for life. Do you know that? They don't have a time limit.
Yes, but those decisions don't stop there, Bill. They have an additional barrier, which is the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Right now, the issue is the Supreme Court, and it would be an issue even if you had 7 ultra-liberal justices. They would still feel the same way. The Supreme Court has become super politicized. It's super partisan. The conservatives on the court are at least 3 of them are ultra conservative to the point that they are making legal decisions from that worldview more so than a legal standing. And that is an issue.
Correct.
And I feel like, and it's just mind-blowing to me that Congress, not all of them, obviously the House voted on it, and some senators did, but how the Congress is completely okay with the president, regardless who it is, it just happens to be Trump right now, declaring and bypassing one of the branches of the government to get a thing passed or get a thing through.
Here's
and we should not be allowing that.
All right. Go to Discord and see if he applied.
He didn't join.
Okay.
So I guess he wasn't interested, or
I don't know. He might do it later.
Something. But that's what I wish YouTube would add is kind of like, because I know Twitch added it, and I know YouNow has it, is sort of like a guesting.
Yeah.
But a little bit different is like Periscope does it, where if you don't want to come on a webcam, you can come on just as a voice.
Right.
And I know Periscope does that now, which I think is a really cool feature. And I wish other sites like YouTube would get that. Is, sometimes people can't or don't want to hop up on visual parts, but maybe they want to talk.
Let me ask you a question. What about us looking at Periscope as another outlet?
Well, you have to do it through your phone.
Through my phone? Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's just a phone app.
Okay.
I've never understood Twitter's strategy for Periscope. Like, it was one of the I'm not say the first, but it really was one of the first kind of modern streaming platforms. And it came out before YouNow did, and it came out before some of these other services came out, like Instagram Live, etc. And they just ignored it for the longest time. They added no new features. They kind of just sat there, forgotten about. And then within like the last 6 months, they've really been updating it and adding stuff. But it's like, well, nobody uses it because you ignored it for so long. And that's kind of what happened with YouNow, is so many people were asking for features like the multiple guests, the better quality streams, the broadcast referees, etc. And they ignored those things for so long that people just tuned out.
All right. Now, one thing I need to have you do, and I lost the link. Can you give me the link? Excuse me. To YouNow that someone needs to use, because they can't go to YouNow or YouTube /TalkingHead/webcam, because it'll ask them passwords and everything else like that.
Yeah, no, that's for their own stream. That would be their own thing.
Right.
What do you want?
YouTube's link that the outside world can get to. Direct link. And, while you're doing that, I'm going to show you something. Oh, I think my chair is in the way. Hold on. Okay. There's the whiteboard. It's out of focus. Let's see if I can get it in focus.
I see it in the back there.
Yeah, let me just see if I can get that back in focus. No, but I'm going to bring it up closer so that it'll be behind me, and people will be able to see those two links, so you won't have to repeat them. They'll be visible.
Yeah, I'll send that to you.
All right.
Did you get pens for the whiteboard?
Yes. No, I use my nails.
Because you can't just use any old pen for this.
I know these are special markers for the whiteboard.
Okay, good.
Okay, they're all black.
All black? You should have got colors, Bill.
Well, no, they're all black because you have a whiteboard. Black and white.
Yeah,
no, I've got colors.
Like
those are in.
You could have drawn the little logos, the little YouTube play button logo, and the little
We have a little smiley on the bottom of it.
No.
She already did one. She did the YouTube one link, but not the other link. Not the YouNow link. Because I printed it out, but apparently I printed out just the one for some reason. I don't know where the other one is. I know, getting old. Don't remind me.
What I don't get is why we got to figure out how to get the. I'll have to look into that before I give you the link, because we want it so that you could just go to youtube.com, channel, Talking Head or whatever we make it. And right now, I don't think you can.
All right.
So let me see here. Yeah, that doesn't work. So we'll have to figure that out.
All right.
But we did a lot today, actually. So that's
You did a lot. I didn't do anything. I just sat here and got frustrated. Okay. Well, the babbling idiot was constantly interrupting me, saying, "Oh, I was like, shut up. I'm trying to listen to Deb tell me how to get to this and that, and you distracted me." And it was like, no, I'm not. As you heard. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing with you. 10:30, we're going to end it, because that's. Now I'm a little tired.
Plus, you went on earlier, so
I want to watch Nero Wolf. I've got that on YouTube. The Nero Wolf series. It's always wonderful. I just sit back in my chair, eat my tuna fish salad, which Karen, my cleaning lady, has been so kind to make every week, which is delicious, and everything else like that. Let me see if I can copy.
This don't seem live.
They were supposed to have it.
What I'm also going to make you, because I just got to figure out how to actually do that, is a thumbnail for all your uploads, for all your live streams.
Yeah.
So I'll do that this week. So then you have something that every upload will be that. It'll be kind of nice, look clean. I think OTC's in here.
I think he was.
He comes, he goes.
No, I just found that there's OTC. Hello, OTC again. No, it's just that when you're broadcasting, 6 days a week, you're confining yourself. Every night it's like, do I really feel like I want to do this? But I've already said I would. And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think if we just limit it down to an hour, though, yeah, I really don't think that's only 6 hours a week.
Yeah, we could do that, or an hour and a half on YouTube.
Yeah, well, we can just play it by ear. If it's a slow night, we'll get up early.
Yeah, we can. Maybe we'll go on at 7 o'clock on YouNow, and do it 7 to 8:30, and then come on here at 8:30. So maybe that'll work. So
maybe we'll decide.
Yes.
Gotta think.
All right, OTC. We're going to, end the program at 10:30. So that's probably another 42, another 6 minutes. So it'll be about
3 minutes. It's 10:27 right now.
Well, you're wrong.
Nope. OTC, we cleaned up the channel. I don't know if you saw that. As you know, is linked on the banner at the top there, which will change soon.
Okay.
His about. He's got an about now. All his videos have tags. They're all under categories.
Let me look. Okay. Make sure you take your seeing eye dog with you.
Yeah, if you look at, I don't know if it's on mobile, but if you look at the corner, it's you can see the little YouNow button on it. So
that will help. Okay, thanks. Yeah, and that is all Dove. That's the one responsible for all of these ideas. I just do what he tells me to do. Except when he says, "What is the checking account number?" And what is your debit number? Then I go, Wait a minute, that you can't have. Well, I need these for supplies, Bill. Okay. But, as I said before, we're experimenting. We're experimenting on being on YouTube and then YouNow. YouNow first and then YouTube. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to experiment with that. And we're getting a good following on YouNow. And we did have a fair amount of people on the other one on YouTube, but tonight they just didn't seem to, switch over. So, that's okay. Takes time.
Yeah, get Dan to get you a YouNow shirt.
Yes, I'll tell Dan to make sure I get one. All right, we're just about ready to end the show, folks. So again, OTC as always, Devin as always. Thank you both. We will be on Wednesday night. We're experimenting with an idea of maybe we're going to talk about it between Deb and I about maybe coming on at 7 o'clock on YouNow and broadcasting for an hour and a half, and then at 8:30 switch over here and go for an hour. So we're going to try that. So until we see you again, as always, we thank you for everything, and I say peace to everybody. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.